So investors often tell me how they're afraid of being taken advantage of by the big players in the industry. Having just spent a couple days in New York City talking to some of those big players that they're often referencing, I'm here to tell you how you can use them to your own advantage. So I just got back from the East Coast, amazing couple days back there, talking to some really bright people. I've got not only some great ideas for our clients and their portfolios, but also really some great content for these weekly commentaries. Where I wanted to start today, though, was really just kind of the mystique and some of the misunderstandings and some of the truths around this concept that the big banks, the big wealth management companies are solely out to try to take advantage of the little guy. And even where there might be some truth to the idea that they've got it up on you, how again, you don't have to be a victim, right? So one of the big misconceptions that I hear quite regularly is, someone somewhere is out there making money all the time. It's true from the standpoint that people are always taking two sides to every trade, but that's about where the truth stops. There isn't, again, some black box, foolproof, know the future type strategy that's out there. Again, if there was, people wouldn't be spending a lot of time doing anything else other than using that black box. The reality of the situation, again, of this point number one, that someone's figured something out that you'll never know, is that it's really often used as an excuse for the bad investment decisions that investors make, for not doing proper planning, for not saving, and to find some other scapegoat other than themselves to blame for that. Again, not trying to be apologist. We all know the horror stories of 2008, and those can all be very true. But again, the disciplines of how to build wealth over time and how to make that particularly appropriate for you are things that everyone can avail themselves of. Misconception number two, big banks are only there to take advantage of you. Never mind the nice people that I've met that work at a lot of these different institutions. It's also only true if you let them. So where does this actually take place? Well, it's true. They can make moves that can move markets, and you can be on the wrong side of that move. It's definitely true, and this is going to perhaps be next week's commentary. They've got more tools and talent at their disposal than you can ever hope to even imagine, let alone possess. And trying to trade against them is not wise. They've got quantitative machines, and again, the vast majority of trading, again, is handled by machines, not individual traders. While all the Schwab and TD commercials about declaring your independence and using the investment tools that the real pros use may sound enticing and like it's a foolproof strategy, or using stop losses to protect yourself, the real truth is those are the types of things that are probably going to work to your detriment. Not understanding what you own and the liquidity of that, again, another thing that could work to your detriment. And again, very legally, there are ways to take advantage of all those foolhardy mistakes that investors too often make using, again, those types of things. The simple part, though, is you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to let your emotions get the better of you when markets run hot and get too greedy, or run cold and get too fearful. You don't have to be a day trader. You don't have to try to pick your own individual stocks. And if you don't do that, you can avoid, again, a lot of these ways that investors get taken advantage of that have nothing to do with good or evil, but simply who's better and who's not. Number three, though, is what about all these conflicts of interest? Should I avail myself and work exclusively with the big bank? I mean, I've got to claim a bias here, obviously, as an independent, but I would say no for a couple reasons. Number one is just the inherent conflicts of interest. We see it all the time where people are using funds or strategies or managers that are the house product, and so maybe innocently they're just doing it because they have a bias toward their own house product. Maybe there are different incentive packages. Maybe it's not a house product, but it's somewhere where a special relationship exists, and so they're getting some back-end revenue. These things absolutely do exist, again, from the more innocent to perhaps the more nefarious. But you don't have to work with them in everything, nor do you have to only use the funds or strategies of any one fund company or wealth manager. Of course, we talk to our clients all about this all the time, which is this is the role that we can really help play. One is to mitigate those conflicts of interest, but then two, to be that resource for you that's going out, meeting with all the various companies and using what is going to be beneficial for you and avoiding the rest and going to some other partner where maybe they've got the better solution. Is again, not all the fund manager talent, not all the great strategies can be found in just one fund management shop. In conclusion, the mindset that only focuses on the negatives, again, of the big money managers and the big banks misses out on a few things. One, it ignores the dangers of going it alone. If you bought Amazon and Microsoft and all the other FANG stocks that everybody and their brother knows about, you've done well for the moment, but history would suggest that's not a consistent strategy that's going to work over time. And when I wish I could share, and I'll share as much as I can, the information, but it's even more than that. It's the impressions you get being back and seeing the tools that these companies have to avail themselves of. The other idea that you're going to outtrade them is just one you need to avoid. You can't, all that's just to say, you can't compete with them long term, but you can, again, use the parts that you want. So with that, we'll hope you look to us or, again, some other independent as a resource to help you navigate this. It's not something you need to live in fear of. Again, there are great people there that you can use and work with. They don't have that black box. I'll leave you with that. If they do, they're going to a ton of effort and hiring a whole lot of people into all these strategies that are hardly black box, but again, can be beneficial for you. With that, we'll leave it there. I look forward to, again, unpacking more aspects of this trip with you soon. Thanks so much.